Our first trip to Colombia was even more surprising than we expected.
A lot of you asked us to put Colombia on our list of places to visit, and we listened.
We just spent a week in Medellin and we stayed in El Poblado, which the New York Times just listed as a must-visit place in 2023, but we also visited some of the other areas.
So in this video, we're going to tell you about the 10 things that surprised us the most about Medellin, starting with number 10, and that is it's a really modern city.
We were shocked by the amount of high-rises and just great places to live in general.
We stayed in an AirBnB. It was super nice. It was a studio with 1.5 bathrooms on the 13th floor with unbelievable views.
Yeah, those views were amazing. We also toured several other homes for a future video, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that.
The utilities are also reliable there. We didn't have any power outages or issues with the water. The internet was pretty fast at our Airbnb. I clocked it at 100 meg download and 30 meg upload.
And what's really nice about Medellin is you can drink the tap water, which we did throughout our stay.
They have good public transportation. There is a metro that runs kind of down the center of the city into El Centro, and they have a lot of buses.
And there are plenty of taxis and Ubers available, although using Uber in Colombia is technically illegal, so be very careful about that, especially if you're planning to use that coming to or from the airport.
We really recommend taking either a taxi or a private driver to the airport.
Number 9 is it is very clean. There is very little graffiti in Medellin unless it is the type that is in art form.
Not a lot of trash on the streets either. We saw a lot of street cleaners picking up the trash and the dog poop. And there are also not a lot of stray dogs to leave their dog poop unattended.
Yeah, every dog we saw was on a leash, which is pretty unusual considering it is not the case where we have lived throughout Ecuador.
The air was also really fresh and clean. We were expecting it to be a little bit more polluted like Guadalajara was, where we woke up smelling exhaust fumes in bed in the morning. But in Medellin, it was actually very clear, and since it's in a bowl, you would really expect it to be worse than that.
Yeah, it was worse when we lived in Denver than it was in our time in Medellin.
Number 8 is it's walkable. They have nice wide sidewalks without a lot of hazards like we see here in Ecuador. Not a lot of holes, although we did see a couple, but no posts sticking out. It's actually really easy to walk there.
Yeah, we were very impressed by that, and we commented on that multiple times. Whether you're in a flat area or in one of the really hilly areas, the sidewalks are well maintained and it is pedestrian friendly.
Although sometimes it's a bit hard to cross the street, especially in El Poblado, because there is so much traffic, and the walk signs were a bit out of sync sometimes. So sometimes you could get like walk to the middle, but then you couldn't finish crossing the street. So we were a little confused about that.
Yeah, we got stuck in the median a couple times.
Parts of the El Poblado and other areas in Medellin are very hilly. In fact, our Airbnb, it was really easy to walk down into El Poblado where the restaurants are located. It was not so easy walking back up. I would be dripping with sweat and out of breath by the time we got back to our Airbnb. So most of the time I convinced Amelia to get a ride on the way back.
I fought him though. It's good workout for your legs and your booty. So I'm always in full support of walking those hills.
Yeah, I heard so many times it's good for you.
But you don't have to. And what's really cool about the El Poblado neighborhood is that on Sunday they close off the main street part of the main street, and it is just full of people out there enjoying their Sunday, whether they're walking with their kids or their dogs or jogging or riding their bicycles. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It's great for people watching and just enjoying a nice quality Sunday.
Number 7 is that it is a foodie's paradise. Medellin is known for its gastronomy. There are lots of restaurants in all of the neighborhoods that we visited, but especially El Poblado.
Yeah, all types of cuisine, international cuisine, whether you want the really high-end gourmet food, all the way down to street food and fast food from all over the world. And of course, you get the Colombian dishes as well. You gotta try your traditional Colombian cuisine.
Our favorite places were the Florence Food Garden. We went there several times, sat out on their patio. We got stuck in a hailstorm on our first night there, which apparently was very surprising because all of the staff came out to look at it and they all seemed as shocked as we were. Caime is another amazing restaurant. Wow. It's gourmet, a lot of Colombian dishes there, all plant-based, and it's a really cool atmosphere. Ama Restaurante is also amazing. We ate there several times for lunch. They have a great almuerzo. And I think it was only around $5 or less for each almuerzo, and it was so filling.
It was so much food. We both left feeling extremely relaxed and kind of needing a nap. Or maybe a walk up a hill change.
No. You're going to find several grocery stores so you can get all your grocery shopping needs met. Carulla is a really nice one. I would say that's similar to like a Whole Foods or a really nice Safeway or King Soopers back in the US. Éxito is kind of like a super Walmart grocery store, clothing, electronics, the whole bit. Then there's Jumbo Santa Fe, which is in the Santa Fe Mall, which is incredible in its own right, but the grocery store was super nice as well. We also in the local neighborhoods have little tiendas, and there's one called Tienda D1 de Todos, which I call de nadas because they didn't have much in those that we could eat. There was a lot of packaged junk food, and as you guys know, we don't eat that.
The neighborhoods each have their own farmers markets on the weekend, which is really nice to find fresh produce from the farm. You'll also find local crafts and Colombian dishes.
Some of the neighborhoods have mercados like we're used to seeing here in Ecuador. In fact, we went to one in Laureles, which is a cool area that we visited while we were there. And some of the other neighborhoods have those as well, but we did not see one in El Poblado.
Number 6 is that there are a lot of foreigners. We saw people of all ages, young, old, and in between, and so many different languages are being spoken in Medellin.
Yeah, we heard German for sure, maybe Dutch, we heard French, but mostly English. However, a lot of the people only speak Spanish, so when we went out to eat, the servers, the people at the grocery stores, none of them spoke English, so you really do need to know some Spanish.
We saw a lot of tourists and a lot of digital nomads, more than we were expecting, and of course, it's very popular with retirees.
Yeah, the digital nomads were a bit shocking because everywhere we went to eat, there were people on their laptops working, and we heard people talking about their jobs while walking down the street in English, young people talking about how they got all their work done this morning so they could party all night.
We heard that mostly in El Poblado because that is known for its nightlife. That is the place to go if you want to party.
Number 5 is that it is very crowded. The city has almost 4 million people in it, which is actually a little bit bigger than Quito, which is now Ecuador's most populated city.
Yeah, we were not expecting that at all. We were not accustomed to being in that much of a crowded environment.
And with that many people, there's a lot of traffic. Man, the traffic was bumper to bumper. Sometimes we were told it takes an hour or 2 hours just to drive from one neighborhood to another neighborhood in the city because there is so much traffic.
And so many motorcycles. This one kind of shocked us as well. There were like swarms of motorcycles sometimes. And because we got moto robbed in Guadalajara, we were a little bit freaked out. It was a bit unnerving.
Yeah, it made it a little bit difficult for us to film on the street. We took a lot of pictures, not as much video as normal, just because there were just motorcycles everywhere on the sidewalks, in between the lanes. There would be like a 2-lane or 3-lane road, but it's actually 6 lanes because the motorcycles were just zooming down the middle of the cars everywhere. They would all go up to the front of the line. So at the beginning of an intersection at a red light, there would be 20 motorcycles waiting in front of all of the cars. And as soon as that light changed, they were off like it was the races. We were not used to that. Here in Ecuador, I would say it's like 1/10 the number of motorcycles. We obviously have a lot here, but it's just nothing like what we saw in Medellin.
Number 4 is that it has great weather. The weather for me was absolutely perfect.
The elevation is about 5,000 feet, which is similar to Denver's, and it's on the equator, so it's so nice all year round. It's the perfect elevation, so it's not too hot and not too cold.
And because we're not in Denver, we aren't getting any snow. Do not miss that at all.
The temperatures are in the 70s and 80s year round. It was a mixture of sun and rain and clouds, and it's just perfect.
Yeah, you just need a light jacket at night. We were really comfortable during our entire time there. You do need to wear sunscreen during the day because, of course, you are at elevation and, well, you just should wear it in general. But at night, the light jacket was fine. Even that day that it was pouring rain and we were there watching the hailstorm, we were not cold.
Yeah, I didn't even take my jacket because when we left, it was nice and sunny and then it clouded up and rained really quickly. So I just had a short sleeve shirt on and it was plenty.
Number 3, there is a lot to do. There's a lot of shopping. I like to window shop. I didn't go into a lot of stores, but you'll find a lot in a wide variety. There's really high-end boutiques, some really cool hip vintage kind of stores. You can go into El Hueco in the downtown Medellin area to get more of a true authentic mercado shopping experience. They also have that in Parque de El Poblado, which is in the square of town. It's really neat.
Yeah, they had lots of things that tourists love to buy there. You're going to find a lot of malls too. El Tesoro is a really nice one, we were told. We didn't have time to visit there, but we did go to Santa Fe Mall. My God, the thing is huge. It's shaped kind of like a donut with like a ring on the inside of shops and then a ring on the outside of shops. So it was just like unbelievably huge. The ceiling was high. They had a really cool center area that they changed what is in there periodically, I guess monthly or so. It was an ice skating rink while we were there, but sometimes it's a dog show or a flower arrangement display. And the mall is freaking incredible. It's the biggest mall I think I've ever been in.
There are also a lot of day trip opportunities from Medellin. You could go bird watching, which you can actually do in town as well. You can go check out the famous Guatapé Rock. You could go to Santa Fe de Antioquia, or you could visit one of the many museums in Medellin. You can also enjoy the incredible architecture in downtown Medellin and the amazing sculptures in Plaza Botero.
We were surprised by all the parks and green space. We really enjoyed walking around El Castillo. It was 17,000 pesos or $3.50 to walk around the grounds. The tour of the inside of the castle was 20,000 pesos, which is about $4. But we opted to just walk around the garden. It was so beautiful. It's a great place to take selfies. And you can hang out with all the other Instagrammers and TikTokers. There were about a dozen of them there taking pictures of themselves, I'm guessing, for their social media accounts.
I found it to be incredibly relaxing, even with all the selfies going on around us.
Yeah, well, I guess we were one of them because we were doing it too.
Yes, we were.
We're just like, oh, the only difference is we were double the age of everyone else there.
Yes. Number 2 is that it is super affordable. The cost of living in Medellin and in Colombia is low, and we found it very comparable to what we've been paying in Ecuador.
Yeah, which is surprising because everybody said, well, with the Colombian peso being so weak right now against the dollar, that we were expecting our Ecuadorian dollars to go a lot further than they did. And we priced a bunch of stuff at the stores and restaurants, and it's almost exactly the same price as what we were paying for those same items and brands here in Ecuador.
And you can find a variety of price points when it comes to housing. We've heard you can get a fully furnished rental in some parts of Medellin that are still very nice and safe for around $400 a month.
Cell phone plans are going to run you around $10 to $20 per month. Internet's around $40 per month. Those are really about the same as Ecuador.
And same goes for the public transportation. You could travel on the bus for under $1. And if you want to take a taxi, for a short distance, you're going to be looking around $2.
And number 1 is that it felt like a jungle with a city in it. That is one of the first comments I made when we got there and we were walking around. I'm like, I feel like we're walking through a jungle, but there's really tall high-rises sticking out of the top of it.
It was incredible. It was so beautiful. I didn't realize that it sits in a bowl, so you're surrounded completely by mountains. And then you got these massive trees in there and these big plants with these huge leaves that are like this big. It was amazing. And you got rivers. Oh, I could just keep going on and on.
And the birds were amazing. The bird sounds, it was just like being in a jungle. We heard all different kinds of birds, big birds, little birds. And we saw some, we're not even sure what they were. We think they may have been full-size parrots, but they squawked really loud. And when they flew by, they looked like a phoenix, like flying through the air. We were just mesmerized.
Yeah, if any of you know what those are, please let us know in the comments below. We would love to know the name of those birds.
Colombia has a variety of different visa options available, including a new digital nomad visa.
And Medellin is a great place to be a digital nomad or a slow mad for those of you who do not want to move around as much.
If you need help earning income online, then we have a new course that's specifically for you. We're going to show you how to do it.
We've been working online for years, and if we can do it, then anybody can.
Yeah, a couple of middle-aged Gen Xers. If we can work online, I guarantee you can too.
If Medellin surprised you, then this city in Mexico might surprise you as well.
We have more videos coming from Colombia and a lot more places to explore there, so stay tuned for those.
And if you enjoyed this video, then strike that like, please, and we will see you all in our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Colombia has a variety of